In this chapter, we're going to look at image fields. One of the most common things for content editors to want to do is add images inline in the body of their content. Let me show you what I mean by this. Let's go to the About page, and I'm going to add an image into the body here somewhere. So I'm going to click Edit and then place my cursor here because that's where I want the image to be. And then I'm going to click the Image button in my text editor and find a file. I'll give this alt text because you always want alt text on all of your images. I can set an image size if I want to. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and do that because I know that this image is quite large and I don't want it to take up a ton of screen space. So I will set it to be 250 pixels wide, and I'll leave height blank so that it adjusts the width and the image itself isn't reshaped. And then I think I'll align this image to the right and give it a caption. Now scroll down, it's formatted quite nicely. There's a little caption area here. And now I'll go ahead and save this page and keep it published. If I scroll down here, I should see my image. And it looks quite nice because Drupal 8 out of the box with the default theme has images styled in a very nice way, so this works quite well. However, the image is inline in the content. It's not something that I can control with views or put into teasers in a way that might be really interesting. So for example, if I go back to the homepage on my site, we have all of these teasers that have the image displaying in a nice way. Because the image is a field in the article content type, and it's able to be pulled into the view in a very special format. By adding the image inline into the content, it's basically part of a giant blob of text. Let's go to that page. So this image is in no way differentiated as far as Drupal is concerned from the text around it. It's just part of the same piece of data that the overall body is part of. So you really want to be able to have as much control over the formatting options of your images. The more that you can have your content follow strict patterns, the more professional and consistent your site will look, and the more options that you'll have for your overall design on your site. This will also give you better control over syndication, such as how posts might look when users add links on their Facebook or Pinterest pages. With the image just sitting in the middle of the text, Facebook or Pinterest won't necessarily know that it can grab that particular image, or they won't necessarily know which image you would prefer that they take. If we look at the article content type, we'll see that there is an image field right here, and this is the field that populates all of those special image displays that we see in the teasers and other areas of the site. I want to take a quick look at the settings on this field just so that you can see how it can be controlled very specifically. So we're going to go under Structure, Content Types, Article, where we know that image exists, Manage Fields. And in the image row here, I'm going to select Edit. Since this is a field, it can have its own help text where you can talk about what kind of image should be in there. A really good example of something that you might want to include would be something like, please don't use this to show the user necessary information that isn't presented elsewhere. And the reason for that is because images can't really be read by screen readers. So your non-sighted user might not be able to access the information that's in the image. And if that's the only place that critical information is given to the user, you're not making your site accessible. You can also set a default image if you want one, and you can restrict the allowed file extensions. One of my favorite options here is the file directory, which allows you to control where in your site code the files are stored. So let's take a look at that. We're going to head over to our Drupal code here. So under Documents, in our site directory here, we have Sites, Default, Files. All of the files that we upload to our site are going to be stored somewhere in this files directory, unless we've somehow configured something else. So I have a field directory, and in there I have an image directory. Any file that's uploaded into that particular field is then going to be stored in this directory. So this helps me control the directory structure for my Drupal site. You can also control minimum and maximum resolution if you want to make sure that images are of a certain quality, but not too large so as to take up your entire file directory's space there. And then you can also make sure that not only is the alt text field enabled, but that it's required, so that anytime a user adds an image, they have to put alt text in. This is a great tool for helping your site follow Section 508 guidelines. If we go back up to the top here and back to Manage Fields, I'm going to head over to Manage Form Display, and we're going to look at that image row again. We can change some of the settings here for how this displays when a node is created using this form. In this case, we can determine how large we want that image to display for the person who's adding the content. Under Manage Display, going back to the image row, we can also set how the image displays publicly. What I want to point out here is this Configure Image Styles link right here. When you're choosing the image style, there's some preset styles available to you. You can also create some of your own, which is what we're going to do in the next lesson. All files that are uploaded through a field that is specifically designed for files are also stored in your site as entities. Those entities can be accessed by views and other aspects of your Drupal site, and they can be managed to some degree under the Content tab. We'll head over to the Content tab and we'll take a look at the Files tab here. Right here you can see all of the files, in this case all of them are images, that have been uploaded to the site. It also shows us where the file is used. So right now we know that butterfly.jpg is used in one location. We can click on that and actually see the entities that reference this particular file. This is very helpful for managing the media on our site. And this is not limited simply to images, but also to other types of files. In the next lesson, we'll see how powerful this field can be for design and content delivery.